and believe so strongly in the power of Kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of Kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. If you have a good-paying job, you should probably try to hold on to it as hard as you can, because those types of jobs are steadily becoming rarer. Since 1990, the U.S. economy has produced millions of jobs, but nearly two-thirds of them have been low-wage jobs. Activist Post reports that today, half of all U.S. workers make less than $33,000 a year. But meanwhile, the cost of living has been steadily increasing. Housing costs, health insurance, and other basic necessities have been rising much faster than our paychecks have. And that puts an enormous amount of financial stress on hardworking American families. The quality of the jobs that are created is perhaps even more important than the number of jobs that are created. The U.S. has been creating a lot of jobs in recent years, but the overall quality of the jobs has degraded rapidly. If you go back to 1990, about half of all jobs in the U.S. were good jobs. But since that time, a whopping 63% of the jobs that have been created have been low-wage, low-hour jobs. In a move hailed as a positive step by environmentalists, Washington became the first U.S. state to legalize the composting of human bodies in May of this year. The Mind Unleash reports the evergreen state will become home to the world's first human composting facility in 2021, thanks to Katrina Spade, founder and CEO of Recompost, after the legislation she helped enact goes into effect in May 2020. According to its website, Spade founded the revolutionary company with the goal of offering natural organic reduction to the public, a system that converts human remains into soil as an alternative to cremation or burial. In November, around 75 people attended what was described by the Seattle Times as a housewarming party for a funeral home, where bodies would not be burned or buried, but laid in individual vessels to become clean, usable compost. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Good morning. Later this afternoon, I will be engaging in an extramarital affair. Of course, I will wish that I had never made the horrible mistake I'm about to spend several hours making, but sadly, I'm currently too blinded by greed and lust to care about or consider the consequences of my actions. The liaison I will be taking part in shortly with two poor deaf teenage runaways is in direct opposition to the values you elected me to uphold. I also wish to apologize to my wife, Linda, to my two beautiful children, Allison and Christopher. It hurts me more than you will ever know that this scandal will impact your life so terribly. I can only pray that the revelations you will soon hear concerning my fetishes, physical flexibility, and penis will not scar you to the point of dementia. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get to the hotel immediately, so I will not be taking questions. Thank you.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves. That's what we do on Free Talk Live. That's what we called it, Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
And the captain.
And that's right. It's the captain sitting in. Aria is, well, it has a lot to do with snow and alcohol. So the number, 855-450-3733. Call in and talk about whatever you want. But we also bring stuff in, and I got to say, you know, a lot of what Free Talk Live is about freedom.
Indeed.
And practical application for freedom in your life. We'll talk about a lot of things that are theoretical, but there's the biggest thing you can do for practical application for freedom in your life is to save money and not be controlled by debt and retire early and be able to spend time with your family, be able to go where you want, do what you want, and all these things center around your spending habits.
They certainly do.
Because, and I've said it here on the air, and it certainly isn't mine, it's not what you make, it's what you spend. And we are going into that time of the year when spending is what it's all about. They call it Black Friday because they go into the black, supposedly. I'm pretty sure that retailers have been in the black for a long time. But let's go ahead and play along with their magic little world where they don't make any money till December. Okay. And this story, coming from Yahoo, disturbs me because I consider sort of frugality to be the cornerstone of living, a free life.
Indeed.
With 165 million people expected to shop over this 5-day weekend, which means, by the way, that more than half of America is not. And
I was going to say, that's like half the population, right?
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
And by the way, this is, that's the weekend that was ending. And spend more than last year. Borrowing is also on the rise. While using credit cards is a popular go-to option around Christmas, holiday loans are also gaining traction. 1 in 3 Americans have or are planning to take out a personal loan to cover holiday shopping expenses. I didn't even know this existed, Captain.
I've not heard of this. It's not been marketed to me. I've not received an email, a phone call, a letter in the mail that says, hey, Captain, would you like to take out a loan to cover your Christmas gift buying expenses?
So, I mean, of course, I've heard of credit cards. I'm not that far under a rock.
Right.
I think credit cards are great as long as you pay them off at the end of the month. But that's the trick, right? Is that they give them to you in the hopes that you don't. And clearly they're still giving them out, which leads me to believe that people are not paying them off at the end of the month.
Oh, no, they're not.
Consumer debt is on the rise, and I remember a year, it was 2005. In that year, Americans spent more than they made. Do you know what happened in that year?
No.
The Great Recession, the housing, the housing crisis started.
It began, right?
Which then kicked off the Great Recession after that.
That was 2008, right?
Yeah, something is it's in there somewhere. I'm not entirely clear on the whole thing, but I can tell you, 3, 4, 5, 6. You decide for your family how long it was, but years of economic hardship followed bad spending habits by Americans.
I don't understand. I realize that it's the holiday season thing, right? And this is, those folks in markets such as credit cards, for example, personal loans, that kind of a thing, trying to, drum up more business, make more money for themselves. But I don't understand, first of all, like the holiday season, in my opinion, should just be for hanging out with your family and friends. Right. Gift giving, like if somebody in your life has done something for you or you want to do something for them, stop letting it be just around this time of year. Any time of year is a good time to give somebody a gift.
Yeah.
And in fact, I would argue that it makes it a little more special if you don't do it around the quote holidays, unquote.
And I can kind of see gifts. If you've got a big family, let's say you've got a big family and you all like to do Christmas at the house and everybody has gifts and it's part of the thing is gift giving. Fine. But you need to control your spending. I mean, if we're talking coffee cups for everybody, okay.
Right.
If
you certainly don't go into debt for it, right? Like that just seems obscure to me.
So, my mother demands to be able to give gifts during the holiday. My wife and I choose not to give each other gifts for anything because the presumption is if we want something, we'll discuss it with the other person and we'll get that thing, whatever it is.
Sure.
And if it's small, we'll have bought it already. And if it is big, you better have a discussion before you just go and get that because maybe I want it in red or whatever. And But, it's fair. Like, so she wants to get me sweaters. She wants to get me socks. She wants to get me underpants. And I appreciate those things. I do. Now, those don't cost much, and I ask for gifts that don't cost much. Sometimes she'll ask, and sometimes I'll say, it has happened, there's this thing that I would not spend money on myself, but I think it wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Right.
And then maybe she'll get that. I don't know. I wouldn't remember, because I wouldn't have, if I wanted it that badly, I would have got it.
Yeah.
But we have a kid, and obviously he has some expectation for gifts. My wife and I give my son, who's 11 years old, one present from us for Christmas and one for his birthday.
Okay.
And it's usually something that he's planned on this. It's a 3-figure gift.
Okay.
I try it not to make it too expensive, but okay, I could do this.
Sure.
And then maybe some things, stocking stuffer kind of things, really small stuff. My mother and my in-laws, they buy him things, and he's the kid that's in the vicinity. My mother doesn't have any grandchildren. My in-laws only have one that's nearby. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they send stuff to the others, but whatever. So they want to buy gifts, and that's fine. And that's, to me, what Christmas is about. But if you want to buy something little, or here's my personal favorite, this is what I prefer to get at Christmas, is something I can consume right now. Make me a gift that I can eat.
Well, yeah, you're touching on something very, very much that is my preference.
I'm a toucher.
Which not bad touch though, good touch. The point of making a gift, right? I can tell you that some of the coolest gifts that I've ever either received or even given to somebody else have been something that I made, and like it first started to seep into my brain just from doing music. Right, one of my friends, musician kind of guy, broke because he spent all his money on going on tour or whatever. Holiday season rolled around. But he had, a little 4-track portable studio kind of thing, put a mic up, recorded a couple of Christmas songs that he wrote himself.
Nice.
And like gave that out for Christmas. That was his present to anybody, really. I mean, think about that, right? That's a reproducible gift in the digital age he was the talk of the gift-giving community for that particular gift. Instead of, going out and buying something from the big ticket store, Amazon, or what have you, regardless of the cost. What did it cost this guy to do it? Some time, some heart. It was made with love. You know what I mean? And so that was the gift that sort of seemed to rise to the top. And that's the type of gift that I prefer to give and receive if I'm going to.
For me, something that happened last year that I recall, and I don't really recall much about gifts last year, but I recall this one. A friend of my wife heard me say that I like Rice Krispie treats, homemade Rice Krispie treats, not the ones you buy in the package, right? And she decided to make me a little gift of 4 Rice Krispie treats that were made with regular ones and the cocoa ones and the Fruity Pebbles ones. And
did you get the weed ones?
I don't know. I don't think there were no weed ones from my wife.
You'd remember those probably.
And I'm not even sure what the 4th one was, but I remember there were 4. And I thought, wow, this is great. I enjoyed them. There were some I liked better than others, but that I got to find out. I don't know that I've ever had anything like that. And I can't imagine that was terribly costly.
Right.
And I was, it was a great gift. Yep. Now, not everybody likes Rice Krispie treats as much as I do, but, fudge, there's a winner.
How about just homemade cookies, people who bake, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Those are my favorites.
Right, the cookies that go around at Christmas. What are those things? there's cookies that you get that are decorated in all different shapes that just come out at Christmas time.
Yep.
Normally I wouldn't eat them, but it's the holidays, so I do eat those things. Absolutely. What are your thoughts? Because I feel like Americans are spending too much money on the holidays. What should they do for Christmas? 855-450 free on Free Talk Live.
Have you ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office? Have you ever felt trapped by relationship rules like monogamy? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I started taking them about 7.5 years ago. It was right after I lost my husband. My husband passed away, I was grieving so bad I wasn't eating at all. I mean, I just didn't care. And so I heard the advertisements on the radio, and I thought, well, my family's upset about me. I got to get myself straight, and I started taking them. So I always say they kind of saved my life, you know. They gave me back my life. I would say that.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
The number, 855-450-3733 here on Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever you want. It's Mark with you.
And the captain.
We are talking about, at this time, holiday shopping. Not just holiday shopping, but holiday debt.
Well, or going into debt specifically for holiday shopping, as I believe the article alludes to anyway.
And I don't have the highest hopes for America. This is an ongoing theme for several years here, Captain. And the reason is I don't think Americans, and I don't know about the rest of the world, I've only lived in one place. I don't think Americans really learn lessons. I think they're fat and lazy and sassy and don't learn crap.
We learn from the past that people seldom learn from the past.
Okay, so here's what the Mongols did, right? Or I should say the
biker gang?
The Saracen horse riders.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So these guys, Mongols are a specific type, so let's go with Saracens. The Saracens would, every couple hundred years, raid some city and take it over. And then they'd rule it for a generation, or 2 or 3 and then lose it. And the reason is, according to them, what their philosophy was, is that our children just become too fat and lazy and sassy, and they don't know anything about being a hard warrior and all that other stuff. They're wearing silk and fine clothes, and we got here because we were drinking fermented mare's milk out on these steps, and that's all we had, and we liked it, and we walked uphill both ways, and the whole, you've heard the shtick.
Yep.
So one of the points where they had some success with, they were sending all the noble kids back out to basically Mongol camp out on the steppes.
Go live a hard life, kid. Come back when you're tough.
Right. And I don't know whether they did it the whole time or just a portion of their youth, exactly how it went, but I thought, this is kind of what we do at camp, Send our kids to go sleep in sheds and be eaten up by mosquitoes so that they'll be a little tougher. And I think it's a great idea, but we don't have that kind of, my generation, Generation X, isn't exactly, the rough-hewn, rugged individualist that perhaps some generations prior to us were. The greatest generation loves to take that little name for themselves.
The greatest generation. That's a little egotistical.
Oh, yeah, it's a little much. But, there's something about somebody who came out of the Depression that has a little harder edge to it.
Yeah.
Now, what Gen X did do is we had to go through the Great Recession. And other generations did too, but I kind of think of my family started, right? My son was born in 2008, and we were forged in this particular time frame. One paycheck, and paid our house off in less than 3 years on a middle-class paycheck.
Wow.
So, and I'm very proud of my wife for that accomplishment. I do not take any credit for it at all.
Yeah, no, that's impressive.
And what we got, she had to relent. There was one meal out a week. Usually it was like pizza or fried chicken. It's nothing really super fancy, but one meal out per week, and we scrimped and saved. And I feel like we learned some lessons in our family regarding that. However, I'm very concerned that some Americans are not learning this lesson when I read an article from Yahoo News that says that 1 in 3 Americans is looking at taking out a special holiday personal loan. That doesn't touch on the ones that are going to use credit cards to go into debt this holiday season, which says to me that probably 2/3 of Americans are going to debt it up this holiday season. And to me, there's no, think about this for a second, ladies and gentlemen. The ones that are going to go into debt this holiday season, the person for whom you're buying that gift, would they really want you in debt to buy them whatever that gift is? Yes, there are some awesome gifts out there, no doubt, but for me, most of them are just crap. I got all the sweaters I really need. I can limp by on sweaters and socks and undies.
Have you ever made a Franken sweater out of all the Christmas sweaters that
I don't make anything. No.
Okay.
I can go to Goodwill if I need an extra sweater.
I don't think it's a good idea to go into debt for really anything. I know that some of it's really not avoidable in this day and age, right? I try to avoid debt. I just paid cash for a used car. I've never owned a new car ever. I have financed a couple of vehicles. They've always been used vehicles, but only I take my finances very seriously. So I only financed a very low payment that was within my budget, where I felt that, whatever my income was, I was going to be able to maintain for the duration of time, 2-3 years, generally speaking. So there's a bit of responsibility that has to go along with it. So, I'm not willing to say, folks should not go into debt for, holiday gift giving, but it's a good idea not to. It's a real good idea.
It's a really good idea to keep this in mind when you're out there buying gifts, is that I remember when I was in high school, I bought a lot of gifts for people. For some reason, I just thought it was a great idea to give gifts to everybody. Mm-hmm. But I usually came up with a budget. And what I'm saying is if you're going to go into debt this holiday season, look at that list again and cut those budgets and see if you can make something on your own. I recommend food because We've all got mouths. I maybe there's more vegans now than I don't live that way. You make fudge for me, I'm happy.
Right.
But I'm really kind of concerned with this article where I say, let's see, holiday loans or personal loans ranging from $500 to $5,000 with short repayment terms of a few months to a year. They require no collateral and often come with high fees and interest rates, so 8% to 14%. I wouldn't call that high when some are 23, but
sounds like payday loans are in there too, right?
Yeah, well, a payday. If you're doing payday loans, you really need to rethink your life.
Okay.
So the concern is that these loans give consumers a false sense of financial security, making them feel like they're in better shape than they actually are, and could lead to taking on more debt. And it's pretty obvious when you aren't shelling out cash that you're spending more than you would otherwise.
And the financial system is wacky too. So, for example, I have been responsible. I have avoided debt as much as possible. Like I said, I had a few, used car loans, that kind of a thing. But I avoid credit cards, that kind of a thing. And then I went to try and qualify for a home loan, right? Because I'm at a point in my life. I haven't bought a house. I should think about that, right? I'd like to retire.
There's a debt that I can get behind.
And it turns out that I suffer from something called underutilization. And that's to say that my credit is fair to middling, but nobody will give me a loan because I don't have any active lines of credit. So I literally would have to go into debt more to establish some small lines of credit to show that I've utilized credit that's available in order to qualify to buy, which is the most ridiculous thing I've been told.
As I understand it, you need to go online and Google sort of the term that you talked about there, the credit problem, and that there's some solutions that are sort of less costly.
There are, and I've looked into them, but man, it's ridiculous.
And I've got another big statistic here about consumer debt. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Would it be nice to wake in the morning whenever you want and work whenever you feel like it? Date women under your terms instead of society's? Be a completely free man? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's FFF at FFF.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Come on and call in. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in freedom. And it's Mark with you.
The Reverend Captain Kickass is here.
And want to tell you about betterplans.net. So it is the time of, besides being the holiday season, it's also the insurance season.
Open enrollment.
Open enrollment for the Obamacare stuff. The deadline is December the 15th. So you're probably thinking about these sorts of things. And now's a really good idea to look for far lower cost alternatives. Real insurance that'll really cover you. You know, this is the good stuff. It's just fine. Go check them out. It's betterplans.net. And they have a better way to do health insurance. They figured it out. You can call them at 800-714-1802 to get a fast and free quote. This is indemnity insurance, and it is affordable. The first step is to become aware of how the wool is being pulled over your eyes. So they have a download of their free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets. It's available at betterplans.net. They've got sample pricing for plans, every bit as good as the major providers' plans, for as little as $145 per month for a single, and even greater savings for families and businesses. There's educational videos over there, a free quote, the free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, all at betterplans.net. Obamacare and open enrollment deadline is December the 15th, so don't delay. Visit betterplans.net or give them a call at 800-714-1802. It's 800-714-1802, betterplans.net. And looking at this news story here where they're talking about 1 in 3 Americans taking out this sort of holiday consumer loan, not going into debt on credit cards.
Yeah,
I'm presuming
personal loan of some sort.
I'm presuming that knocks us up to probably 2/3 of Americans are going to go into debt for the holiday season this year. But I want to read some of these stats in here. We've been talking about better ways to do this, and if you need some ideas, there's always archives.freetalklive.com. You can always get the show and listen. But, it says 1 in 6 consumers. So they say 1 in 3 is going to go into debt, but 1 in 6 consumers is still paying off last year's holiday debt on their credit cards after racking up $745 in outstanding balances on average.
So not even done paying off last year's Christmas, going to go into more debt this Christmas. Smart not.
Yep. Outstanding debt is likely to increase this holiday season as average spending is forecasted to hit $1,047 That's I see. That's what their debt was. I'm sorry. It's a 4% increase from last year and a 25% rise from in the last decade, according to the National Retail Federation. So, I mean, who knows how much people will go into debt over this holiday season on average? But I'm just going to say, look, the average American can't put their hands on $1,000.
Right.
And if you're one of those people, this is how you know, ladies and gentlemen. If you're one of those people, you need to keep the spending down to something manageable. And by manageable, I mean don't go into debt on it. And I'm speaking as a guy who buys almost no Christmas gifts. I make agreements with people. Look, I don't really want anything for this Christmas. That way I don't have to do any shopping and you don't have to do any shopping. Let's just agree to like each other.
Right.
Yeah. Come on over for a party. There'll be cocoa and beers and we can, do these sorts of things. And that's
punch
fine.
and pie.
Right. All those things. The holidays often come with high expectations, which can be detrimental. 6 in 10 people feel the pressure to overspend this during this season. I must be one of those 4 in 10. And I don't know. It's been a long time since I had any consideration that I felt like I had to buy a gift for somebody. So I just say make agreements that you don't. But they recommend setting limits rather than buying presents you can't afford. Talk to family members about price limits or a gift exchange so you don't have to purchase the entire family gifts. There's these sort of round robin things. I don't know what they're called. Secret Santas. And
I was just thinking that a really good holiday gift, if you find yourself in a position where you have some wealth to spread around, you want to spread some holiday cheer, help other people pay off their debt. How about that?
Yeah. So they got a white elephant gift exchange, Secret Santas. I've heard of all these things. I'm not. They also recommend selling items. So this is a good time of year to sell unwanted items. Since many shoppers buy used gifts on eBay and Craigslist, Boswell said if you have items you no longer use, you can use the proceeds of the sale to buy gifts this year.
I'm down with the recycling thing. Like, there are plenty of used products out there that other people have had and didn't use, and they're just as good as brand new. And there's, if you are feeling like giving a gift, there's no reason to not consider that before you consider buying something new.
Right. And they say plan ahead. You got to set a budget. Know what you're going to spend in gifts and spend what you're going to spend in gifts. Write it down. Write down who you're going to buy things for. Write down how much you're going to do and figure out where the money's coming from and don't let it be debt is my recommendation here. That's it. I'm going to take a firm stand that debt's a bad idea around the holiday season. 1 in 6 Americans is still carrying the debt from last year.
That's insane just to think about that. You haven't paid off. Here it is, December, first week of December or whatever it is. And folks haven't even paid off what they bought last year.
Well,
that's insane.
That's our society. I mean, like the information that's coming from retailers and the Federal Reserve and the government and all that stuff is spend.
Spend what you don't have now, right? Go into debt is their motto, it seems.
Well, I mean, the federal government has never not been in debt.
Yeah, true.
And so, I mean, what kind of example are they setting?
Where'd you learn it from? I learned it from watching you.
That's exactly right. This is your brain on debt.
I have that same philosophy about the shooters, right? The mass murderers or whatever. Is that where do folks learn that it's okay to do some sort of a mass killing? Well, from the government, of course, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that too many of them look up Wounded Knee or whatever it is and say, well, this is the government's doing these mass killings. I mean, certainly we have a society based on violence, but I kind of feel like that's inevitable with humans. I like to put in people's hands concrete things that they can do to make their lives better.
That's wise.
I mean, I'm happy to talk about the theoretical stuff, but there's only so much you can do. You can choose to be a total pacifist in your life. And how does it change the world? Well, maybe a little. Maybe somebody says, oh, that's a good idea, and they try it for a little while or whatever it is. Yeah. But I don't feel like it.
Well, circling back to the debt thing, though, and I guess the point I was trying to get at with the buying a home and having to go into debt to gain somebody who will lend me enough money that's like, okay, I've been responsible, I've gone out of my way, but I'm being punished. Like, I can't get the same kind of a loan that somebody else can get because I haven't utilized my credit. And that is a ridiculous thing. Like, I mean, you can ask any of my, my landlords, that kind of a thing. I do have credit references. They'll give me a stellar reference, right? But it's just because I haven't utilized credit in a number of years that it doesn't show up. And so therefore, I don't even get, like, if I had horrible credit, I would get consideration before I get consideration for just, like, not being in debt, which is ridiculous. It's a backward system.
Agreed. I mean, it's a system based on going into debt or playing around with debt.
Yes.
Because credit cards are they're a game. They're a little game of Russian roulette. Now, I don't know how many bullets are in the chamber, and I don't know how many chambers there are. But I know that the idea is that, well, I just can't pay. It's not convenient to pay this off this month, so I'm going to let it ride till next month, which, of course, then it's twice what it was. And there you are. You're in the cycle. And you've paid interest on it. And whatever savings you got at whatever sale you got is all eaten up in interest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're just giving the savings off to the credit card companies, to the banks. And I don't feel like it's worth it. 855-450-3733. Your call's coming up next. That's 855-450. Free as in Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
We can all agree these are troubled times, right? So do you know who's on your wireless network? Whether it's a big company selling your data or a foreign hacker, if you're not protected, everybody sees your information. That's why you need Flash Routers, a custom Wi-Fi router created for privacy. Flash Routers uses a virtual private network, or VPN, to protect your online activity from hackers, trackers, and large corporations. And not just one, but all your devices with one out-of-the-box setup. Plus, Flash Routers also enhances your wireless network performance and unlocks powerful router management tools to let you take total control of your network. Call or click Flash Routers today at 1-866-509-5817 or FLASHROUTERS.com. That's 1-866-509-5817 or FlashRouters.com. Protect your wireless home network today with Flash Routers.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because. And avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. The call-in line, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in freedom. And we're talking about holiday debt, and we're begging you, don't go into holiday debt.
Please.
Because your freedom really, in large part, depends on your bank account balance. And you can you can advocate for this sort of freedom and that sort of freedom, but that's just people talking. You can be free if you control your spending. I want to tell you about Liberty.menu. If you believe in freedom, maybe you're like other libertarians out there who have been wanting a directory of liberty-minded businesses. Well, we're helping to build one. We're sponsoring them. Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social networking aspect so you can connect and share with others. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and for those who agreed to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. So put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special badge. It's Liberty.menu. Let's go to Joe calling in from Grand Rapids. Joe, thanks for holding. You're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, you have to look at if you're in debt. I mean, like you guys were saying, you're never really free if you owe people money, and you're never going to get ahead. And
you're at least not free if you intend to pay them back.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, don't get into debt for the holidays. I mean, I know so many people they drive vehicles they can't afford. They live in houses they can't afford. For what?
Joe, what do you think about like the television commercials for like the new cars where like, the husband or the wife walks out into the driveway and there's a bow on the brand new car?
Well, it's marketing and it's clever marketing, but it's stupid. I mean, if you want a new car, you're better off getting a low mileage used vehicle or something modest. I mean, but like credit cards, man, they're tools. I look at them as like something you use in a drastic emergency happens. You don't have the cash for something, or and you need, like you said earlier, pay them off every month. But when I was younger, I didn't know crap about money, and I learned my lesson the hard way. And it seems like a lot of people have forgotten the lessons after the last recession. Don't get into debt where if anything goes wrong, you're screwed. You lose your job, you have nothing. You're scrambling for grocery money and all this stuff. And I know it's easy to do, but it sounds old fashioned, but live a little below your means. Like you have your income and you live a little bit below that, give yourself a cushion. And especially as libertarians talk about freedom and all this all the time. And it's when you owe people, you can't just get up and leave. You can't can't do what you want.
Yeah, you got to do the responsible thing.
Right. They say a little bit of savings. They call that a FU money, right? So, if somebody in your life, I'm thinking boss, gives you some trouble, you can say, F you. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And I don't recommend that as a way to get a hold of it. But every once in a while, you run across somebody in life who needs a good see you later, alligator. If you didn't like the front of me, you sure ain't going to like the back of me. Goodbye.
Yep, I've had that feeling before where, it's panic mode, and I vowed never to get that way again. I splurge sometimes on stuff. I like to buy things, and, I love the holidays and everything, but cash is king, man. Don't get into debt for a toy or a present or, anything. I had a cousin get married, and they had a very modest wedding. It was very low key, and you go to some of these other weddings, man, people are getting debt for these things, and it's like an extravaganza.
$40,000.
Yeah.
$40,000.
Yeah.
I've heard these numbers, and it's stunning to me. I mean, these are down payments for houses, and somebody's paying this for a party. I mean, God, what kind of expectations have we set in our young people if this is what's happening? My wife and I had to pay for her parents paid for the catering, which, by the way, was awful. But we had to do our own wedding, and we did it at a church, and we managed to do it for under $1,000. Most of that was the pianist and the preacher man.
Yeah,
it can be just as nice and just as special, a wedding or something like that on a low budget. With, it don't need to be Mardi Gras, man. I mean, you're getting in debt for $30,000-$40,000 for a 5-6 hour.
Yeah,
party,
it's ridiculous. I can understand on one level that, particularly from like the female perspective in a wedding, that I used to play in heavy metal bands, and I've been on stage in front of a packed house. I know what it feels like to be a rock star for a day, for a few hours. And I get that from the female perspective, the wedding is, built up in their minds to be this sort of like, it's my day to be a rock star, right? And so they literally want to sacrifice everything to feel like that rock star for that day, because that's probably the closest most folks are going to get to like being an actual rock star on stage and having that feeling. So from that perspective, I understand the sentiment, but I also find it ridiculous to spend that kind of money on just the event itself when you would be far better off planning for the rest of your life using that money in a completely different way.
Yeah, if you want to spend the money, have a nice honeymoon, or save the money for a down payment on a house or something, something smart. But people, I've never understood people getting in debt for like Christmas and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm cheap.
Well, I mean,
or smart.
Call me cheap if you want. But I'm not in debt. And I went to a Christian school. I didn't learn a heck of a lot there, but one thing I learned was that the borrower is the servant to the lender. And that's true because I intend to pay back all the debts that I take. Yep. Now, yeah, sure, there's people out there you lend money to, and it's gone like the wind. And that's one of the reasons I don't really loan money too darn often, because I don't want to find out which ones of my friends are worth loaning money to and which ones aren't.
Must that rule of thumb, never lend more than you're willing to lose?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have found friends that I'm like, okay, I'll loan some money, and because I'm sure I'm going to get it back, and but for me, the feeling of loss is worse than the loss. I just don't want that feeling.
If it's a friend or somebody, a family member, and you're kind of like, you doubt their, you're like, well, they'll probably never pay it back. Just, if you can afford to lose it, just here, it's a gift,
Yeah.
Just that. I mean, that's just the kind of the way I look at it. If it's, now there are people that you can trust because that, their work ethic or whatever. But yeah, it's sad of debt, man. You never know when there's another recession coming. You never know. I keep hearing next year. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, well, and statistically, the value of the U.S. dollar, the Federal Reserve note, is never going to become worth more So it's only going to go down as we continue to see these quantitative easing type of tactics.
And that's another aspect that is probably worth mentioning here is when the credit card companies, or I should just shorten that to banks, because that's what they are.
Yep.
When banks loan money, they're not loaning their money. They're loaning a portion of their money because you need like a 1 to 9 ratio of deposits for loans. So when they're loaning money, they're loaning you 12 cents on the dollar. There's no real risk for them in the loan. And then, they build all that stuff in. And so when you make a loan, you're loaning real dollars. You earned every one of those $1,000 you're loaning out. And if you're going to loan it at 6% to a friend, then the real inflation is something like 2 or 3%. Shadow inflation, they say, is 6, 7, 8%.
Yep.
So you're losing money anyway by doing these loans, and then you're dealing with a situation where the friend's not going to pay it back. I'm just saying, don't go into debt this holiday season. This is my recommendation. Learn the lessons of the Great Recession and live your life like this, because that's what I've decided to do.
Give yourself that gift this holiday season.
Yeah. And that's what your relatives and friends want for you anyway. They'd rather you be economically free than to give some $20 gift that probably isn't going to get a lot of use. Just saying. Joe, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right.
The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in freedom. You can use our Discord lines. You just go to discord.freetalklive.com. You got to do a little sign up, but once you do, you sound great. Discord.freetalklive.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,462, silver at $16.91, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,310. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the Electronic Frontier Foundation has released a comprehensive report that identifies and explains the hidden technical methods and business practices companies use to collect and track personal information from the minute we turn on our devices each day. Published on Cyber Monday, when millions of consumers are shopping online, Behind the One-Way Mirror takes a deep dive into the technology of corporate surveillance. The report uncovers and exposes the myriad techniques: invisible pixel images, browser fingerprinting, social widgets, mobile tracking, and face recognition that companies employ to collect information about who we are, what we like, where we go, and who our friends are. Amazon, Facebook, Google, Twitter, and hundreds of lesser-known and hidden data brokers, advertisers, and marketers drive data collection and tracking across the web. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. If you have a good-paying job, you should probably try to hold on to it as hard as you can, because those types of jobs are steadily becoming rarer. Since 1990, the U.S. economy has produced millions of jobs, but nearly two-thirds of them have been low-wage jobs. Activist Post reports that today, half of all U.S. workers make less than $33,000 a year. But meanwhile, the cost of living has been steadily increasing. Housing costs, health insurance, and other basic necessities have been rising much faster than our paychecks have. And that puts an enormous amount of financial stress on hardworking American families. The quality of the jobs that are created is perhaps even more important than the number of jobs that are created. The U.S. has been creating a lot of jobs in recent years, but the overall quality of the jobs has degraded rapidly. If you go back to 1990, about half of all jobs in the U.S. were good jobs. But since that time, a whopping 63% of the jobs that have been created have been low-wage, low-hour jobs. In a move hailed as a positive step by environmentalists, Washington became the first U.S. state to legalize the composting of human bodies in May of this year. The Mind Unleash reports the evergreen state will become home to the world's first human composting facility in 2021, thanks to Katrina Spade, founder and CEO of Recompost, after the legislation she helped enact goes into effect in May 2020. According to its website, Spade founded the revolutionary company with the goal of offering natural organic reduction to the public, a system that converts human remains into soil as an alternative to cremation or burial. In November, around 75 people attended what was described by the Seattle Times as a housewarming party for a funeral home, where bodies would not be burned or buried, but laid in individual vessels to become clean, usable compost. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Several weeks after the car accident that resulted in the death of his longtime friend Matthew Abrams, local man Keith Bisbee told Onion reporters today that he isn't sure how much longer he should continue using the photo of his deceased friend as his profile picture on Facebook.
People can't really expect me to keep this up forever, right?
Bisbee told reporters he felt like he had done more than his part to preserve the young man's memory. Bisbee added, however, that he had no idea when to go about changing his profile picture.
I'm pretty sure nobody would judge me if I went ahead and changed the photo right now. Matt wouldn't expect me to still have a picture of him up. I mean, I wouldn't expect that of him. You know, I should just do it. Maybe I can go online later tonight when nobody's on. But his girlfriend gets home late from work. I don't really want to seem disrespectful. Maybe could do it tomorrow morning, or...
At this time, Bisbee has reluctantly changed his profile picture to an image of a gay rights equal sign and is, quote, just waiting to see what happens next.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Captain, it's
Yes,
Mark
Mark?
with you. It's Mark with you, by the way.
And the captain.
And Captain. Yep, Captain, every once in a while there's show prep that comes in that I'm like, I'm really interested in that. Because a lot of these stories, I've been doing this for 20 years. These news stories change. The places and the names, the places and names change, but the stories stays the same.
Might you be talking about the article with the headline, "Maybe abolishing America's police force isn't as crazy as it sounds"?
Right. Now, what I'm hoping for from this article is somebody who's taken some time to do some research and really come up with some great ideas on what it would be like, the world would be like with abolishing the police force. I hope I'm not hearing some screaming black blocker, scrawling stuff on the internet between Molotov cocktail tosses.
Should we find out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go to the article. This is from undergroundreporter.org. Are police necessary? Although this existential question often produces a knee-jerk, of course they are, who would protect us?
My thought is similar to this, is that basically no matter what, we need a protection force of some sort, whether it's hired by a neighborhood or, hired by an individual. I mean, there are people out there that hire protection forces for themselves.
You and I agree on that. My problem with the police is, of course, they're funded by the state. They're based in violence. And if you don't like the service that they provide, you can't do anything about it.
So my thought on police is actually a little different than it is on most government programs. And I think that most government programs you can attack based on their funding. And certainly it is true that behind schools, police are the largest cost for a community. Obviously, some communities it's different, but when I see the little communities out there, they're spending money on schools and then cops, and then it goes down from there. Yep. Firefighters tend to be a little ways down, but honestly, as a firefighter, I'm going to tell you that there would probably be some efficiencies introduced to the marketplace if firefighters were more market oriented.
Yes.
Maybe your fire department servicing 3,500 people in rural wherever doesn't need a ladder truck.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe, I don't know. How many 3-story buildings are there in town? Maybe. I mean, we'd all be better off with some fire extinguishers in the kitchen.
Right.
And I'm adamant about that, by the way. But, whatever. As far as police go, a lot of times they're... So first off, when it comes to traffic stops, this is one of the things that people like cops for, is just that when that guy who went by is driving like a maniac. Okay, I get it. Well, part of driving like a maniac is going over the speed limit. And we have technology now, which is speed cameras, that can handle the dispensing of tickets for people going over the limit. And it doesn't include distracting lights on the side of the road. It doesn't include half of the police deaths per year, up to half of the police deaths per year can be getting knocked into a ditch because they're standing, walking the road or standing the road. This right. Whole policy of pulling people over on the side of the road, sometimes on bridges, it's crazy to me.
Yep.
But it's part of the job. It is dangerous. And the lights are there. I mean, ask any emergency worker. How many people have been in wrecks right next to the wreck that you were dealing with?
Oh, I was in one, and then another one happened while folks were helping me out of my car who pulled over to
It's because of rubberneckers.
Yeah.
They just can't help themselves. But the lights are there. They're designed to distract people.
But would you believe a growing call for the abolition of police and working examples to back it up deserves more than a scornful dismissal, particularly amid epidemic-level violence by agents of the state? Police are under no obligation to protect the public. They putatively serve. A series of state and Supreme Court decisions stretching back more than 3 decades indisputably establishes this fact. So the lingering question, who will protect us, is of no consequence to the case for dismissing every police department in the nation.
Right. So police departments don't actually have a responsibility for protecting you. Oh, by the way, I was making the point that funding isn't the way I'd go after police departments. What I'd say is that police, individually and as a unit, should be responsible for their actions.
Yes.
And I don't mean taxpayers. I mean police.
Right. Yes. Right. If you are, I don't know, you get into some altercation with an officer of the law and he bangs you over the head with his baton and you sue for police brutality or something along those lines.
And it's seen by a jury as
and you win that case. The money that you win does not come from the police officer who beat you over the head with the baton. It, in fact, comes from the taxpayers. So the taxpayers lose no matter what.
Right. And that, to me, is the problem. And if police departments and police officers were responsible for their actions, I don't think this is a radical notion. I'm not trying to say that we should disband all police. I'm simply saying that officers should be responsible for their actions, just like every other person out there is responsible for their actions.
Yep.
Make police responsible for theirs, too.
Well, we know that police kill, maim, intimidate, harass, and generally brutalize the citizenry with alarming frequency.
I think this guy might have an axe to grind.
Maybe. And rarely face consequences beyond a paid vacation,
Often the case.
Farcically termed administrative leave for doing so. Rather than
sometimes they get their jobs back years later with all the pay reinstated.
Oh, or they'll get fired from whatever department they worked at, and then they resurface 6 months later at some other town in working at their department at the same rate of pay, if not more. And yeah, you're right. They're not held responsible. Rather than fight and solve violent crimes, police act as little more than heavily militarized code enforcers, or as David Graeber of the London School of Economics aptly terms, bureaucrats with weapons.
I like fundraisers, armed fundraisers. Because, I mean, cops know they've got quotas. Now, they may not call them quotas. This is, they've got other code terms for it. But, I mean, if you're a city or a municipality and you've got a police department and that line item costs money and you've got to find, maybe it's supposed to generate, maybe the police department's supposed to generate money. Because they're one of the few out there that can send out bills, and those bills have to be paid.
Yep, or else.
And, I don't know what a cop makes in a given day. It depends on the department. Some of it's $30,000 a year. Some of it's $100,000, and really just depends. But yeah, they can lay out tickets to cover their daily cost.
Yeah, so these weaponized fundraisers are protecting us from all sorts of things like broken taillights, missing front license plates, and imperfect lane changes more often than from robbery, homicide, and rape.
Far more often.
Yeah.
My favorite is the weaving inside your own lane.
Oh gosh.
So you're saying I was in my lane?
Yeah. I got I got into an accident. I hit some black ice, flipped my truck.
Shoot. Gosh.
And I almost died.
Yes, you did.
Well, and that was actually my first attempt to move to New Hampshire about 5 years ago. But like Phoenix, I rose once again, and here I am. But I got a ticket for driving with my wheels off the roadway.
So the car flipped on the black ice, and they decided to give you a ticket.
So in a market situation, whoever provided the road, I might be able to hold responsible for not keeping the road under appropriate driving conditions or not closing the road if conditions were inappropriate. But because it was a state-funded roadway, as many of them are, I was not able to do so. And in fact, I had to pay for the privilege of driving on the roadway, which was not suitable for driving upon. In addition to, having been taxed for it.
So they made some money off of you losing control on their poorly maintained road. It's an awesome deal. I had a situation once where the town I was living in, they sent me I was involved in a situation where a dog had gotten out and killed a bunch of chickens over at a neighbor's house.
Okay.
And the police officer ends up there and writes a ticket to the guy whose dog got out. But, I mean, it's not like the guy whose chickens got killed is going to get anything of that.
Did he get a ticket too?
No tickets for him, but he's not going to get any money either.
No chicken tickets, but dog tickets. I get it.
855-450-3733. They said it was a civil matter. 855-450-FREE is in Free Talk Live.
What good is living in a free society if you don't live a free life? Being stuck in a job or being locked into a relationship, but you're not free to do what you want. I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
Free Talk Live.
I was watching some videos of you and your crew of cronies on YouTube, and I was shocked at what I saw.
What did you
came
see
off
that
as
was
a
so
band of
shocking?
Degenerates that were harassing members of your community. I saw you chasing around some traffic lady, the parking violation.
The parking
you know?
attendants, yeah. Okay, so you saw some footage from Robin Hood of Keene where...
There's a whole bunch of that footage out there, and I can assure you didn't see me.
That wasn't really a Free Talk Live thing.
Incorrect.
All right, you got me. You got me. Lay it on me, prosecutor. What'd you see?
Incorrect. I would like you to address, are you guys receiving government benefits while you guys are doing this? I think you are.
No.
What would the benefit be?
Incorrect! Incorrect, sir!
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and hey, you're free to call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
And the captain.
Now, we're reading an article here about where, somebody who's done a little bit of research is suggesting that quite possibly we could live without the particular government service of policing. Now, I'm of the opinion that I'm fine with this, has been called the night watchman government. You know, cops, courts, roads, military, that kind of thing. I get it. But I'm also open to somebody talking about, well, do we have to continue to do things the way that we've always done them? And if there people aren't out there thinking about those things, we're always going to do the same things we've always done. And that's not desirable.
Yeah, we need innovation where there currently isn't any.
Also, speaking about innovation, there's a great cryptocurrency wallet that I love. It's called the Edge Wallet, and they are very innovative.
Is it named after you?
No, but Paul Puey, who designed it, his team designed it, did mention to me right away that they were, when they still had it in beta, that, hey, our new wallet's called the Edge Wallet, and I'm going to want you to endorse it. And that's great. Honestly, it's more important that Ian endorses it because he knows what he's talking about. And when Ian says a cryptocurrency wallet is a great cryptocurrency wallet and he's willing to endorse it, that says so much more than if I'm willing to endorse it because it has my, the name is the same as mine.
Sure.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think the greatest part about it is the username and password part.
It's pretty cool.
You could do your whole cryptocurrency life with a username and password, and all you got to do is start at edge.app. Secure your freedom. Go to edge.app. So please, go on with this article, Captain.
Certainly. The article goes on to, say a bunch of things that we've covered on this show previously.
The police have been involved in this shooting or that shooting and that sort of thing. And
yeah, we the citizenry are not nails to be forcibly and violently coerced into submission over the tiniest of nonviolent and inconsequential infractions.
Well, and I would say this is that one thing that it's probably worth people understanding is that every disobedience is potentially a death sentence. So let's say you're driving along and you've got a tail light out. Now, in all likelihood, everything's going to be fine and you're going to get home if you're not stopped by a cop. But if you decide I'm not pulling over for this stranger with funny lights on their car, then, well, pretty soon the nail strips come out and they're doing these moves to knock your car out of control, and you could certainly die. They'll pull weapons on you. Sometimes the trigger gets pulled when the weapon's pulled. And look, I'm not advocating for running from the cops, and I'm not saying why are they killing the people running from cops, but understand that every infraction is a potential death sentence. And that's the thing you need to understand is we're all held at the point of a gun to every law that's passed. Violation, misdemeanor, felony, it doesn't matter what they are. You better do as you're told or you're going to die.
Yeah, the every law is just words on a piece of paper with a gun hiding behind it.
Right.
Right.
And a lot of times, by the way, with these high-speed chases, they could just take down the license plate on the car and then pick them up later. And there are countries around the world, mostly in Western countries, where the cops haven't shot anybody. I think there was one statistic that the police in America have shot more people than the cops have in London since in Great Britain since 1960 or something like that. This is just coming off the top of my head, but it gave you some idea. And that was just that year.
Right.
And the cops in Iceland have shot one person one time. And boy, oh boy, did he deserve it. I read that story. But they went to his funeral, too. And surely they have high-speed chases there. I'm just saying, too many of our cops have probably seen the Dukes of Hazzard.
And don't call me Shirley. So the article goes on. Are police a necessary element in an ordered, peaceful society? In short, the answer is no, absolutely not. Largely because police spend such little time policing anything other than ridiculous laws created solely for the purpose of revenue generation to justify their own existence.
Well, so then, what if police forces were just pared down to handle those kinds of crimes? Again, I've said that I think that mostly reckless driving includes speeding, and speeding can be handled through automation at this point. Maybe you need cops for red light running or something, but they do have red light cameras. I don't like the way they've been used by municipalities. In fact, I find them to be deadly. But I'm just saying that if this is your excuse for keeping cops, that they're darned expensive and completely unreliable.
So how do you get the cops themselves to unjustify themselves?
Oh, they aren't going to. I mean, the firefighters aren't going to do it either.
Right.
So
and there within is sort of the problem.
Right. And the people are going to go ask, well, what do you cops think about this? Well, they're your servants, not the other way around.
Well, and we learned recently, too, that through things like, revenue generation and civil asset forfeiture, that organizations like the police or other law enforcement organizations now actually rob people of more value than actual robbers do. So as an organization type,
yeah, right.
That's a pretty big statement, and it's not going away anytime soon.
Let's go to the phones. We've got Dave calling in from Colorado. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live. What is going on there?
Dave and his mouth full of salad.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Is it Cobb salad, Caesar salad? What do you got, Dave?
It's hard to explain. Ridley salad.
Okay.
Ridley salad. All right. So what's on your mind, Dave?
It's got real chunks of Ridley in it.
I have a minor update on NH Exit.
And what is NH Exit?
It's New Hampshire's secessionist. It's not the whole secessionist movement. It's just part of New
intending
Hampshire.
to collect those people together.
Well, hang on, Dave, because there was a thing about NH Exit where it was the governor who, like, somebody's suggested renumbering the freeway exits, and so that got tabbed NH Exit. So are you talking about that, or are you talking about NH Exit as in like a secessionist movement?
I'm talking about basically NHExit.com. Governor Sununu has a thing called My NH Exit, and he's protesting the federal government's attempt at renumbering the exits on New Hampshire Interstate.
Right, the one thing the government could do that would actually make some darn sense, and they're like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's funny that I haven't ever heard him complain that they're trillions of dollars in debt, or that they sent a SWAT team to Jerry DeLamus's home in Rochester. But if they're going to change the numbers on the exit, he loses it. So I don't know. At least he's fighting something.
I guess. I mean, that seems like a ridiculous thing to fight. I support that. Let's run a fund.
Maybe so, but anyway, that's the.
What's the update?
That was the last NH Exit news. The current NH Exit news is that I guess we've earned ourselves a place on the Micronations Wiki.
Really?
And they told us thing, and they say, quote, the NH Exit movement is a secession movement in the United States of New Hampshire. It was started in 2016 following the British referendum on leaving the European Union. The NH Exit movement aims to hold a referendum under Article 100, Section B of the New Hampshire Constitution to introduce an amendment to Article 7 to remove
That is a
all
victory,
referendums.
Dave. Congratulations. Free Talk Live.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
You ever feel like you're in jail, a virtual jail, because of your job or maybe your current relationship, where you're not allowed to do what you really want? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Call in. Talk about whatever is on your mind. It's Mark with you.
The Reverend Captain Kickass is also here.
And I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is, in my opinion, this should be your first stop when you start researching cryptocurrency. And this is one of those things that's going to come up around Christmas. So go check them out at Bitcoin.com. You can buy crypto there. You can get a wallet there. You can they sell Bitcoin Cash is the thing that they're pushing, and I support them because Bitcoin Cash you can make transactions for far less than you can with like the major cryptocurrency. Go check them out. It's Bitcoin.com. I love their news at news.bitcoin.com. They've got a real news organization, and it's a real good news organization.
Some great articles.
Yeah, well-funded, and they're constantly innovating over there. I love it. It's Bitcoin.com. Let's go back to the phones, Captain. It's Schmidt calling in from, listening on the podcast, Mobile, Alabama. Schmidt, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How are y'all tonight?
All's well.
Pretty good.
All right, I had a question about the IRS and taxes.
All right, well, I'll do my best. I'm no attorney, which is important to say.
Well, I figured y'all probably would know a little bit more about this than I would. My dad is disabled. He just got disabled over this past year, and he owes the IRS about $2,000.
All right.
They're threatening, to of course, seize his assets and stuff like that because he can't pay them. I live with my father. Does that mean that they can take my property?
Well, this is one of those things that's sort of you. I would say yes, they probably can take your property and then determine whether or not it was yours later. Because what are we talking about here? Are we talking about gold bars? Are we talking about a car?
Are we talking about the land you live on?
Firearms.
So I would think those might be a problem because you would have to sort of prove that they're yours, and not everybody can do that with firearms, mind you. So what I would do is I'd get a hold of the IRS and see if you can come to some kind of terms with these people, because often they'll put together payment plans and take into consideration that somebody's disabled. You can show proof that that's the case and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd be concerned about my firearms there.
Well, you see, my dad actually is on a payment plan with them, but he's filed for disabilities. He hasn't gotten it yet.
Okay.
This has been an ongoing process.
Yep, it is.
But
takes years.
I'm not paying. Yeah, I'm not paying for his. It was his mess up that got him into this.
Oh, I got you.
I really don't want to pay that.
Yeah.
My other question was going to be about cryptocurrency. If you are buying and selling it online.
Yep.
And you're using that entirely as the money. Like if someone gives me Bitcoin and I use that Bitcoin to buy a product and then sell that product for Bitcoin, is there any tax liability on that at all, or is it something completely different?
That is a question for our one-time host, Melanie, who was a tax attorney. But I would say,
I can tell you that there's some vague notion of a law that may apply to the asset class, as they call it now. But generally speaking, if you conduct your transactions in cryptocurrency and they remain within cryptocurrency and there's no record of it reported to any government agency, generally
then you're just snitching on yourself.
Yeah, you're just snitching on yourself in that case. So generally speaking, if all of your transactions remained in, we'll call it crypto land, you are typically not going to be harassed by the man for any tax liability.
Now, I did have a situation where I used to work. I was the general manager of a radio station down in Sarasota, Florida, and we had an arrangement with a barter organization. So we would exchange radio ads for these coupons for other things that people had traded in. So restaurant script was a pretty common one. And we'd use the restaurant script to take people out to lunch and hopefully sell them some radio ads and, give it as bonuses to employees and that kind of thing. And we had to claim that in some manner. I wasn't the accountant. I was the general manager, but we had to report and claim that in some way. And I don't exactly know how it appeared on the taxes, but I can tell you that we considered, you could buy an ad for $5 a holler, but when we traded it into the barter company, they were $10. So we doubled the cost. But so I would say yes, probably that a strict reading of the rules would probably say that yes, you owe something. But if you're dealing in what effectively is internet cash, then it's up to you what you want to report.
The other thing I just want to mention quickly is, generally speaking, when people get into any kind of an issue with cryptocurrency is when they try and turn it into the United States dollar, right? The Federal Reserve notes, cash, as most people know it. That's generally where the problems begin to happen. When you want to, look, I've got $100 in cryptocurrency. Now I want that $100 in cash. How do I make that happen? And $100 is a very low number. I think they look at accounts that do transactions like over $3,000, something along that sort of a line for those organizations that do that kind of thing. So that's generally where the problems come in, is when you're trying to turn it into Federal Reserve notes. So if you stay within the crypto sphere, generally speaking, your transactions go unnoticed.
All right, cool.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you so much for y'all's time.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Bye-bye. Let's go to we have the AMP-only call-in line, which is on the Discord channel. And I haven't screened the call, but it's an AMPer, so I feel relatively safe. Let's go to Dissident calling in from the internet. Dissident, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey guys, it's Dissident, aka Mortified Penguin, calling in about you mentioned roads, and the number one question that comes back to libertarians.
My roads.
Build the roads.
It's always the roads. Without the government, who would build the roads? Probably the people who build the roads already, because government doesn't.
I think I want to start a one-off band just called M-U-H.
Well, I was actually reading a couple of weeks back an essay by a guy I think Dr. Roderick Long.
Yep, we've had Roderick Long on the air.
Yeah. And he was talking about, it had a very good essay, and it was talking about public property in a, anarchic free market world, in a free market society. And he made several interesting cases and description about public property, and all of them were centered around, you can see how this would work for roads, and here's how it could work for some other cases. And, the other cases are a little more tenuous, but for roads, it's pretty obvious that private roads do exist, and there's a reason to have a private road. Farms and lots of places and private communities and HOAs have private roads, and that's beneficial. But public roads with public access have their own set of benefits that kind of incentivize themselves in their building and maintaining. And plus, roads are occupied by people. Like you occupy any one part of the road for a very brief amount of time if you're moving on it. And if you're not moving on it, you're obviously obstructing other people. Yeah. And so there's an incentive to build roads, because if you have any sort of homestead or business activity, you generally are going to want people to be able to access it other than just yourself, and then to maintain it and everything. It's generally self-incentivizing. So I don't see how the argument really makes a whole lot of sense.
Which the argument that that we need the government for roads?
Yeah. It's
I don't think that anybody
silly.
who's making that argument has spent a lot of time thinking about roads. And if maybe they are asking that question to get some ideas on how could roads exist and be maintained in the absence of the state. And I have some ideas too, and I want to bounce them off of you, Dissident, and see whether this matches up with what Roderick Long would have said. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com, 818-984-6100. Shopsupertea.com.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA? Or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at mypatriotsupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at mypatriotsupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. mypatriotsupply.com.
First, that the
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Our listeners on the stream were entreated to our ramblings during the last break. I didn't turn off the microphones.
Oops.
Yeah. Professional broadcasters here on Free Talk Live.
Oh, mad.
The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free, as in Free Talk Live. And Dissident called in on the amp line to discuss the evergreen topic of roads.
Roads.
And nobody can talk about libertarians without mentioning roads. And so I thought I'd mention the AMP program. You too could be calling in, sounding very, very clear and having the many other benefits that the amplifiers get if you just go to amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. And I'd like to thank Jonathan, who is a platinum amplifier, which is a big deal. I mean,
platinum.
there's very, very few that go the whole way and jump in with both feet to platinum. But Jonathan did. Thank you, Jonathan. And thank you to anybody who goes to amp.freetalklive.com and dedicates $5 a month to what I believe is the single best use of your liberty-oriented dollar. And the reason for that is you're not paying paychecks here at Free Talk Live. Lots of other liberty organizations are doing lots of great stuff, but almost nobody is bringing the ideas of liberty consistently on the radio waves to, it's certainly not to as large of an audience as Free Talk Live is. So if you like that, we ask for the support of $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com. Going to bring Dissident back on here. So we were talking about roads and the possibilities of ways to fund them. And I'm curious of some of these ways that it was Roderick Long who wrote this article?
Yeah.
That he might have been talking about. But I've got some ideas too. So first off, the government isn't one organization by any stretch of the imagination. It's an umbrella organization over an umbrella, over an umbrella, over an umbrella, over an umbrella.
It's more an organization type.
Right.
Yeah.
And most towns could spin off their Department of Transportation relatively easily. And then the Department of Transportation could potentially just go about raising funds in some manner other than what they do. Now, I think roads are the single best argument that, like gas tax, is a pretty good argument for voluntary funding. And here's the reason. In many towns, you can find fuel that is not taxed. Recreational fuel for farm equipment and a variety of things. You can buy fuel that's not taxed. So if you choose to buy taxed fuel and support the running on the roads, then the chances are good that you won't get caught. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could go to get the wrecked fuel, put it in some fuel containers, and then fill up your vehicle at the house, and nobody would ever know. So there is an argument that this is a voluntary situation, that you're paying for fuel taxes voluntarily. But perhaps the DOT would get a little more inventive if they had to do their own thing. And here's one of the things I think they do. First off, businesses are constantly looking for advertisements on the side of the road. So billboards. Secondly, if billboards are a good idea, then what about sponsoring a section of road? Maybe you get to paint whatever you want in it. Maybe that whole section of road's blue and says Walmart.
Well, they already have the Adopt a Highway program for like the littering, and they're like, oh, such and such enterprises sponsored the next 5 miles of road to keep it clean. It's a modified version of that to pay for the actual road.
Yeah, it's a tiny sign, but it is good at advertising. Yeah, and I do notice it.
Again, you modify it to be bigger and better and more responsive.
Whatever your audience, your clientele wants to have, then those are the things you ought to start looking at spending. Offering as far as a DOT goes. And so then there you go. Every stretch of road in America covered by, or at least the large percentage of, by the retailers who want you to use the road to drive to their business. Home Depot, Walmart, Target, all these places. It'd be a huge boon.
And as you mentioned, Mark, the reason that we don't see stuff like this, and you're going to mention a bunch of ideas, and I imagine Dissident is going to mention some ideas as well. I believe that in the absence of government, we would see a variety of methods for funding these things. And we can't see any of them now because obviously the state won't just get out of the way and let it happen.
Dissident, what were some of the ideas?
Well, yeah. First of all, it would definitely be a variety. That's the free market really is more of a variety of ways of organizing society than just a way of using cash in a limited number of ways. But more of a general way is like anyone who has a business or a home or a town or anything really automatically is going to benefit from not only roads but like public use of the roads, and not heavily restricting the roads, and not putting road pirates on the road to shake people down. I don't think that would make people very happy, nor do I think it'd be very good to have like Main Street, each section of sidewalk is the private property of each person. You have to have their permission to set foot on each section of sidewalk in front of each business. And I mean, that's obviously pretty absurd. So, I think that the roads might not be super consistent or super, there might be some standardization along the way, but you might find some very interesting looking roads. But I think that people are going to have the incentive to come together to fund the roads in a variety of ways, because it's going to benefit people, accessing their town and them accessing other places and them getting to other roads. So I don't think that it's going to be really difficult for people to find ways to fund this without having necessarily to generate a profit for it. Because, really, to generate a profit, you have to control access, and then people aren't going to use your road to come to your town, and you're just going to lose out.
Yeah, and roads being funded by towns lead to all kinds of inefficiencies. There's a town here in southwestern New Hampshire where 3 people are serviced by a $750,000 bridge. The bridge is probably worth more than their houses combined. But the people of that town must now maintain this bridge because at some point or another, somebody knew somebody who got a bridge put up over there, and now, well, the bridge is there. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Who should pay for that bridge? Those 3 people should pay for it. Or, they figure some other way to drive around. It's ridiculous. Most of these mini roads are basically just glorified communal driveways, and they should be handled by the communities, that they service.
I think one of the
yeah. Otherwise, you're subsidizing them living there. You're subsidizing the way they get around.
Right.
I think one of the most overlooked ideas for how roads would be funded in the absence of statist government already exists, and that is the example of the internet, right? Often referred to, or used to be, as the information superhighway, right? So how do you get on the internet? How do you pay for the internet? How do you drive around on the information superhighway? You have something called an ISP,
right.
an internet service provider.
Presumably, they pay something to keep the whole.
So
network.
I imagine something called an RSP, a road service provider that models its business model after the ISPs, where you have an organization that is responsible for maintaining, quote, the fiber, unquote, in our case, the asphalt, right? And then you pay them, a subscription fee, and you have roaming charges when you go out of your home area, like a cell phone plan would be, or something along those lines, or a hotspot that you can carry with you, some sort of a token that says, hey, I subscribe to, Bob's RSP, and so therefore I can drive on these roads.
Yep. And what I like to do is I like to make these solutions that seem a little more palatable to especially the bureaucrats. Many times people will say, well, what about the cops, the firefighters, the road guys, whomever's displaced by this particular new funding model? Well, I say give the roads to the Department of Transportation in any given town. Let them continue to do it. And then they'll either be successful or fail. And if they fail, then it's an asset for the company and it'll be liquidated in order to pay off the debts or whatever the situation might be.
So you're talking about all of the employees of said DOT in a given area. Okay, now it's your organization. You guys figure it out.
You're stockholders. Good luck.
Yep, there you go.
And I say that with schools. So, people are like, oh, the teachers. Well, you think the teachers are great? Let's give them a school. And then let's just see how they do. They already have 85% of the students going there. Yep. They've already got a building. All they have to do, you've given them with a big ribbon on it, a business. Go ahead, make it work. And I'll bet some of them will.
Oh, absolutely.
Dissident, thank you for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. These notions seem radical to you? I'd love to have a conversation with you. What's unworkable? Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,462, silver at $16.91, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,310. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the Electronic Frontier Foundation has released a comprehensive report that identifies and explains the hidden technical methods and business practices companies use to collect and track personal information from the minute we turn on our devices each day. Published on Cyber Monday, when millions of consumers are shopping online, Behind the One-Way Mirror takes a deep dive into the technology of corporate surveillance. The report uncovers and exposes the myriad techniques: invisible pixel images, browser fingerprinting, social widgets, mobile tracking, and face recognition that companies employ to collect information about who we are, what we like, where we go, and who our friends are. Amazon, Facebook, Google, Twitter, and hundreds of lesser-known and hidden data brokers, advertisers, and marketers drive data collection and tracking across the web. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. If you have a good-paying job, you should probably try to hold on to it as hard as you can, because those types of jobs are steadily becoming rarer. Since 1990, the U.S. economy has produced millions of jobs, but nearly two-thirds of them have been low-wage jobs. Activist Post reports that today, half of all U.S. workers make less than $33,000 a year. But meanwhile, the cost of living has been steadily increasing. Housing costs, health insurance, and other basic necessities have been rising much faster than our paychecks have. And that puts an enormous amount of financial stress on hardworking American families. The quality of the jobs that are created is perhaps even more important than the number of jobs that are created. The U.S. has been creating a lot of jobs in recent years, but the overall quality of the jobs has degraded rapidly. If you go back to 1990, about half of all jobs in the U.S. were good jobs. But since that time, a whopping 63% of the jobs that have been created have been low-wage, low-hour jobs. In a move hailed as a positive step by environmentalists, Washington became the first U.S. state to legalize the composting of human bodies in May of this year. The Mind Unleash reports the evergreen state will become home to the world's first human composting facility in 2021, thanks to Katrina Spade, founder and CEO of Recompost, after the legislation she helped enact goes into effect in May 2020. According to its website, Spade founded the revolutionary company with the goal of offering natural organic reduction to the public, a system that converts human remains into soil as an alternative to cremation or burial. In November, around 75 people attended what was described by the Seattle Times as a housewarming party for a funeral home, where bodies would not be burned or buried, but laid in individual vessels to become clean, usable compost. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
In a statement this week, famed actor and television icon Dick Van Dyke confessed to being the Zodiac Killer, responsible for terrorizing Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The 85-year-old actor, known for his television and film appearances in classics such as Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Mary Poppins, and The Dick Van Dyke Show, said he committed the Zodiac murders but also killed over 37 additional people. Van Dyke said, quote, "It was unbelievably easy for me to go kill someone, come back to Burbank, and get on set. It was actually part of the fun to see if I could book a flight and make it back in time." Van Dyke's confession is corroborated by several eyewitnesses describing the Zodiac Killer as, quote, "a gangly, loose-limbed man with a toothy grin and a spring in his step." In other news, the open dialogue two Americans are having about race is pretty hilarious. A husband is experimenting with an open marriage, and a f***ing loser is at a movie all by himself. This episode of The Onion Week in Review was paid for, funded, and entirely created by The Onion, and in no way benefited from cheap, thankless viewers like you. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
And Captain Kickass.
And it could be you. All you have to do is call in at 855-450-3733 or use our Discord lines at discord.freetalklive.com. We started an article in the last hour.
Oh, yeah, we did.
About the idea of what are some possibilities surrounding the idea of doing away with state-funded police. And I'm curious. If anybody has taken the time to research something and they're going to make a proposal, I'm willing to listen. So, Captain Kickass, you were reading this. Please continue.
Yeah, so jumping ahead of, kind of like the crimes of the police, right? What they're responsible for.
There's no doubt that, the police, some police officers are responsible for committing crimes. Then sort of as a whole, the organization here in the United States seems to kill a lot more people than it does in other countries around the world that are comparable. And, you can say what you want to say about that. Some people defend it and say police lives matter. Other people are like, this is wholly outrageous and whatever the case may be. But there is no doubt that that organization is funded through taxes. And it's really difficult to make the argument that taxation isn't theft. There are some ways to do that argument, and I'd be curious as to what your thoughts on taxation being theft is. 855-450-3733. But let's go about talking about what would happen in the absence of this idea.
So in the absence of policing, justice, prison, and criminal code reform, several viable options present themselves for consideration, perhaps most imperatively among them the complete abolishment of police. To posit the populace would devolve into chaos and violence without police departments ignores the chaos and violence wrought by police, not to mention the very real historical proof a correctly and fully functioning society can and will police itself. There's a link to some other article here. I'm not going to go there. First,
by the way, I'll point out that I'm very familiar with several municipalities that simply don't really have policing. And mostly it's people who have guns in their houses that'll blow your heads off, and is the reason that you don't see a lot of crime.
Yeah. First, consider the sizable financial feedback loop perpetuated by an excessively intrusive nanny state and its armed agents of enforcement. Taxpayers shoulder the cost of disproportionately large police forces which crack down on petty criminals instead of preventing murders, rapes, and significant property crimes.
Which would be very difficult to do.
Yes.
And I don't really think it's honestly the responsibility of police. It's not what we hire them for. We hire them as a cleanup crew for when we need them.
Yeah. And then the taxpayers fund the overburdened public defenders and the backlog courts, prisons, probation officers, legislators in their efforts to criminalize yet more ridiculously innocuous behaviors.
And let's not forget that far fewer than 1% of cases go to a jury trial.
Yes.
Which means that somehow our system has devolved into this sort of rubber stamp. You did it. We're going to offer you this and whatever. It's basically plea bargaining. And that's not what justice is. That's not what you learned about in civics class.
Yeah.
This is a workaround for justice.
And it's never ending. It's unsustainable, and it's not going to fix itself, not in ways significant enough to warrant further discussion. As of 2011, according to a 2013 study by the Associate Dean of Eastern Kentucky's University School of Justice Studies, Victor E. Kapler. I'm not familiar with this guy. A mere 2 of 14 arrests were for violent or property crimes. If police truly existed to fight actual crime, not the overwhelmingly excessive number of quote crimes created by lawmakers' departments would be slashed in staff dramatically.
Right. I mean, in a lot of cases, you would only need a skeleton crew to handle most situations. I mean, there's sometimes when you got to send a cop over to tell the college kids to settle down with your party or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not a need for security. As a matter of fact, when we started this, I said there's a need for security.
Yes.
But I also think that what they're saying here is true, is by and large, the police are being used for sort of made-up crimes.
And Kapler writes, there's a quote here from him, if we take all the violent crimes reported to the police in 2011, we find that there were 1,203,564 violent crimes. Since more than 885,000 people worked as sworn officers in that same year, there were 1.36 violent crimes reported for every police officer employed in the U.S.
Basically one violent crime for every cop in America.
Correct.
That's a lot of cops to handle, and that's in a year, right?
Yes, in this 1 year.
So we need one cop to handle 1.3 violent crimes. We'll call it 1.4. We'll round up. 1.4 violent crimes per year. That seems wasteful.
It is very wasteful. If crime were dispersed evenly across the nation's police, then this would mean that in 2011, each police officer would have been responsible for investigating just over a single violent crime. And since we know that a relatively small number of criminals are responsible for the vast majority of crime in a society, each cop would be responsible for even fewer criminals.
Yes, that's true.
After the hotly controversial deaths by police of Michael Brown and Eric Garner in 2014, the call for police reform intensified exponentially. We know this. We covered it on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I'd say that America got cop cams out of that. If you call that a win, now the government agencies have more cameras to use facial recognition and watch you with.
Yeah, and while undoubtedly well-intentioned in motive, years of begging nicely for the broken system to fix itself have, as to be expected, fallen on deaf ears. Abolishing police entirely might...
Many times what you're dealing with is police officers, police unions, lawyers that represent police, instead of addressing some of the issues that are out there. And there's lots of issues that people have, legitimate issues against the police.
Yes.
All they do is, why, if you call a crack addict, they just cry. I mean, you want to have a reasonable conversation. If somebody in my life was like this, they wouldn't be in my life anymore.
Right.
If every time I wanted to bring up a legitimate critique of the behavior of somebody who's in my life, be that family or friend or whatever, they just blew up like, oh yeah, well, what do you think it'd be like without me? I don't know. Get the hell out.
Right.
Let me find out. Don't bring that crap to me, because I mean, at this point, I don't know what it would be like without police officers, because I'm being forced to fund them at the pain of losing my house. Don't act like we'd be worse off without you. Yeah. Y'all are stealing your money to get it. And then you're talking about receiving stolen merchandise as a crime. What do you call your paycheck? Taxation's theft, homeboy.
Yeah, and you have no way out. You don't have the option to opt out. Abolishing police entirely might reek of radicalism to a nation cowed by constant government fear propaganda. But considering how little violence is present in our current society, and that's, I've read other articles on this, that
it gets less and less every year.
Every year. It just continues to go down.
Every decade, I should say. Probably there's years that go up and down, but
compared to just decades ago, examples already
And maybe
in
the
place.
cops can take credit for that. I don't know. I mean, there's no way to tell. But I suppose we can see areas that are not terribly well policed in America. How is violent crime doing there?
Yeah, generally, I mean, much lower than, generally the lower the population, the less crime you're going to see.
And I also think it's reasonably fair to say that over time, we would probably have about 20% of the people in prison that we currently do. Obviously, some of them would need to, die in prison and stuff like that, or get out or whatever the situation is. But over time, if you legalize drug crimes, you legalized, gambling, prostitution, and all these other vice crimes, the ones that don't have a victim, what will the cops be doing? Who would they be putting in jail?
Right, yeah, they wouldn't have anybody to put in jail at that point.
About 50% of people in jails right now are in for nonviolent drug crimes.
Yeah.
Some of them would probably commit crimes too, while they were drugged up. There's always the guy on PCP picking up a car in the parking lot of McDonald's and swatting people with it, or whatever the hell you hear.
Yeah, a bunch of them are just possession, though, right? Oh, well, he was holding onto a plant.
855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Do you wish you could do whatever you wanted in your dating and relationship life, even if you're married? Do you wish you made more money on less hours? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Captain Kickass.
I want to tell you about Liberty Stickers, longtime advertiser of Free Talk Live. And I just actually talked to Rick over there at Liberty Stickers not too long ago. And he's like, yeah, I love what you guys do. And I want to support you any way that I can. And I just want to remind you that these ideas of liberty, you can help spread them. And you can do it with bumper stickers. Maybe it's a bumper sticker that goes on your laptop. Maybe it goes on the back of your car. If it does go on the back of your car, that message, it should be important. It should be customized. And that message is probably the one that you like is probably sitting over at libertystickers.com. All you have to do is go through their many, many hundreds of stickers there and read them. It's like reading memes. People scroll through memes all the time.
I'd argue bumper stickers are the original meme.
There you go. Check them out, libertystickers.com. They are the original meme. I think you're right. And, you know, people read bumper stickers. You've moved forward in traffic just to read somebody's bumper sticker. It's libertystickers.com. And, yeah, go over there and support them, libertystickers.com. Going on with this article about basically what would it be like if we disbanded police departments.
Right. And we've talked about a few things, but the article continues with a nice thought, and we kind of touched on this during the break. Trained and unarmed intervention teams consisting of civilians, often former violent offenders themselves, can and do diffuse potentially violent conflicts in their own neighborhoods in major cities from Los Angeles to Detroit, as noted by Rolling Stone. Indeed, conflict resolution as a community program has effectively prevented criminal activity, improved neighborhood relations, reduced gang violence, and resolved, without the involvement of police or courts, crimes which have already occurred. So there's already these organizations who are teaching nonviolent dispute resolution that have nothing to do with police. I mean, do you know of any police officers that are running around and like teaching folks nonviolent dispute resolution? I don't.
I don't imagine that there are very many, but probably a small handful. What I would say about that is, first, I don't think that every problem can be solved by nonviolent dispute resolution, but I think some can, and I think that the percentage of crimes that can be solved by it is probably much, much higher than the percentage that is currently being solved by it.
Yeah.
I think this is something that needs to be instituted and tried. When you have somebody who continues to deny their actual behavior, then you've got a problem. Secondarily, you have a problem when you presume that somebody is guilty who is making a denial. So one nice thing about the criminal justice system is whether it's accurate or not, there's a guilty party when they're done, or the charges go away. Yeah. So I think that one of the ways probably around nonviolent crimes nonviolent dispute resolution is to just keep denying that you did it. The first three rules of criminal defense: deny, deny, deny. And this is what a defense attorney told me one time. I thought it was a good joke. And, well, I mean, is it a joke, I guess?
Yeah.
So, going on.
In just one anecdotal example, this guy Euchre offered to the Chicago Reader recently, there was a robbery at this store in the community. One of the people at the store whose stuff was taken said, "Look, I don't want to call the cops. Is there anything we can do?" They found on Facebook that this young person was selling their stuff, and that young person happened to go to a school where we'd done some circles. They're talking about dispute resolution circles. So I knew a teacher at the school and could say, "Hey, this is where we're at." Eventually, the robber and the robbed were brought together in an attempt to resolve the wrongdoing.
Yeah, I'd love this.
That young person ended up returning what he had that hadn't been sold, and then working at the shop in restitution for everything else. Then it turned out he really liked working there, and after this agreement was over, he continued to go there and volunteer. There was a relationship built there. That relationship among community members can act as a compelling deterrent against crime. The better one knows the neighbor, the less likely they are to rob or victimize them.
I think, yeah, it's building relationships, and there are people that will rob their family, but, fewer. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
That's Nuevo Mexico.
Okay.
Albuquerque.
You guys call back when you come into America.
Nah, never coming back. We're going to stay a third world country. Even if they wanted to, they would remain a third world country. That's actually what the locals that have been here 400 years, literally, they can trace talk to a guy last name Benavidez, trace the family history all the way back to Christopher Columbus, or AKA Cristobal Colon, is the Spanish, and he was incensed at his native Nuevo Mexico, saying I was in a conversation, referred to New Mexico as a state of New Mexico, and he corrected me. He said, "This is no state. This is a third world country." And that's not some gringo from the north. That's not some gringo carpetbagger from the north coming down and saying that. That's a local whose family's been here 400 years.
Yeah, I've been to New Mexico, David, and I got to say I will go out of my way to avoid it. There's a few reasons, but I wanted to ask you about it because you're a frequent caller. When I was there, I visited, and
I'm not a frequent caller. I'm a chronic caller. Hey,
hey, what you do in your private time before you call is up to you, bro.
That's what I told Ian. That's what I told Ian.
I wanted to ask you because I heard this term when I was there. It's called the land of entrapment because, the
land of enchantment.
It's land of enchantment is their actual
state
motto. But the locals call it the land of entrapment. And because there are more people in New Mexico prisons and jails that are not from New Mexico than any other state in the Union. Now, some of this has to do with the fact that, New Mexico is a big desert, so they put up these buildings to house prisoners from other states. But I was told, and I don't know if this is true, maybe you can enlighten me, that New Mexico is infamous for arresting and detaining people who, drive without, New Mexico plates from other states and that kind of thing. Is there any truth to any of that?
Well, you may know more than I do since you read something on it. I haven't read anything on it, but to be honest, actually, living here, I've been here like 15 years, I think, and I never really picked up on that. And actually, I wouldn't rip on the cops here too much. I don't really put them down. I don't think they've done things to me that they should not have done. But I've also made good friends with quite a few of them as well by trying to do so. And it is possible. So I can't substantiate what you're saying, and it doesn't really feel quite right. It seems like most people that are in prison here are actually native New Mexicans. But having not yet been in prison, I'm sure that's coming. But having not yet been in prison, I don't
try
have
to avoid
experience.
it, David. Do your best. There's a saying in Florida prisons that you come on vacation, leave on probation.
Leave on probation. Yeah.
Return on extradition.
Well, yeah, I'll try to avoid it, but as you know, they're trying to put me in prison as we speak. In fact, I got the next in the series of hearings coming up on Thursday of this week, and
this is for calling into a radio station.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Like they told you not to call in on one show, and then you called in on another show, and it's being ridiculous.
And
well, come on.
Well, I'm getting all flustered because I hear this music and it's making me nervous, like I'm going to get cut off at any second. And
Thanks for the call.
I don't know.
855-450 Free Talk Live.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. in my lab. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. As a scientist, I know the balance of nature works.
Experience the balance of nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about what's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Captain Kickass.
The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. BetterPlans.net will give you a little more freedom in your life because, well, the more money you pay into those Obamacare plans out there, the less money you have to spend on things that would make you happy. So BetterPlans.net, yeah, they've got ways for you to get affordable health care plans that cost hundreds of dollars less per month, but they're just as good as the major providers' plans. As a matter of fact, they're as low as $145 per month for a single and even greater savings for families and businesses. This is indemnity insurance, like the kind that was available before Obamacare came in place, and all the big insurance companies got basically, huge paychecks from the government, essentially. They've got educational videos over there at betterplans.net, and free. You can get a free quote plus your free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets. It's all at betterplans.net. And remember, the Obamacare enrollment deadline is December the 15th, so you don't want to delay in making your decision. It's betterplans.net, and their telephone number is 800-714-1802. Betterplans.net, 800-714-1802.
So we were discussing this article from undergroundreporter.org, and there was talking about some different ways that voluntary organizations can actually prevent more violent crimes than, say, a police force does. And it's specifically called having a relationship with the community. And the article continues, that relationship among community members can act as a compelling deterrent against crime. The better one knows a neighbor, the less likely they are to rob or victimize them. Makes sense. This cannot be said of police in 2016, as officers often don't live in the neighborhoods they police, which creates a degree of separation and personal investment from the ultimate outcome of any interaction, decreasing the hesitation to act violently in an encounter that wouldn't ordinarily call for the use of force. So the summary is that, the better you know your community and you're involved in it, the less likely you are to react with violence as a police officer.
Also, the more impunity you have for your actions, the fewer the consequences for your actions, the more likely you are to act like a jerk. I had a situation where I was going through the TSA line. I had an expired driver's license because I figured, this is a photo ID.
That's tyrannical sexual assault, for those who don't know the acronym TSA.
Thousands standing around is what it looks like to me. And so I had this expired driver's license. I'm like, well, this is a fine photo ID. I'll just go through. Well, the TSA does not like that you have an expired driver's license. I'm like, I'm not going to drive your little metal detector. I'm just here to prove, this is just to prove who I am. The bombers who blew up the 9/11 buildings had expired driver's license. Are you calling me a terrorist, sir? And literally, these people surrounded me with a dog. Over an expired driver's license. I'm like, don't touch me.
Wow.
And one of the cops, at some point in this exchange, said, you got a problem? And it just made me realize in that moment, this is a Londonderry police officer, is a cop, not a TSA agent. And it just made me realize in a moment, this guy has no interest in de-escalating this situation.
Right.
I'm getting what I consider to be poor customer service from poorly paid bureaucrats who would otherwise be sitting around on the government dole, and they're doing the only job that they can do. And this cop comes in to defend them. Yes. I'm the taxpayer here. I'm the one paying. None of this stuff is relevant at all to this guy. And why should it be? There's no reason at all it should be relevant to him.
Yeah.
He can, him saying, hey, you got a problem, might reveal that I am a violent guy because I might slug him right in the face, right? And if I did, then he feels completely justified. See, saying, you got a problem, like a schoolyard bully, just reveals a violent person.
Right.
Instead of, maybe a person reacts to, I don't know, the way a schoolyard bully would somebody might react to a schoolyard bully and slugs them. But whatever.
I mean, in no way does that say, hey, I'm here to assist in de-escalating the situation.
No.
In no way. Hey, you got a problem? I mean, that's, if anything, it's asking for the situation to escalate further.
Right. And, so you have one organization whose job is to make sure that, no terrorists get on the plane with weapons, and to make sure that all the water bottles are thrown away, right? And then you have this other organization that's supposed to be there to, I don't know, sort of maintain order surrounding this silly little operation that, people from other countries come here and they're like,
Yeah.
The
fact that anything like the TSA doesn't exist outside of the United States, it should be enough evidence for most people to go, oh, well, that's completely unnecessary. But you were mentioning the driver's license thing. I had not quite a similar experience, but just relating to driver's licensing. Like, I don't think licensing should expire, like, ever. Once you get it, it should just be valid.
Yeah, what is the point in renewing a driver's license?
Same thing with license plates. Why do they expire? I don't understand. Do they go bad after a year or 2 or 4 or whatever it is?
It really seems silly.
I moved here recently from the Seattle, Washington area where it's pseudo-legal to purchase recreational marijuana. They have stores where you can just walk in and buy it. You do have to produce ID, much like you do when you go to a bar for cocktails, right?
Sure.
And oddly enough, unbeknownst to me, my driver's license had expired. I'd been into this store several hundred times. It was 3 blocks from my apartment. And I presented my ID as I was due. I, was talking to the gal behind the counter who knows me by my first name and, my legal first name and all that kind of thing. And
which I don't.
Right. And not a lot of people do. It's not something I advertise.
But you have to show your
But you have
ID.
to. And so, so that goes on. And she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't sell anything to you today." And I thought she was joking. I'm like, "Oh, haha, very funny. I'll have one of these." And she's like, "No, I'm serious." I'm like, "Well, how come?" She's like, "Your driver's license is expired."
So now you can't buy something, even though she knows how old you are, knows who you are, but you can't buy because the driver's license is expired.
Right.
Silly.
They have some sort of thing written into the law that they could get their license to sell the marijuana revoked if they sell to somebody whose driver's license is expired.
Now, as I understand it, the Arizona driver's license is good from the time you're 18 to the time you're 65. I don't know how they go about putting a new picture on there. I don't have any answers for that.
Right.
That's, I think, the best argument for a new driver's license is I gained some weight or lost some weight or whatever the argument is. And interestingly, in Montana, if your vehicle, I believe, is over 10 and a half years old, you don't have to get a new plate or a new sticker for it. It's just, at that point, it's just good forever until it stops running.
Yeah, in Washington, if your car is 25 years or older, you can get what they call collector's plates or antique plates, and then you don't have to take the emissions test anymore, and you don't have to pay.
Yeah, but do you have to pay for that plate every year? Excuse me.
You have to keep a sticker on it that says the current year, but you don't have to do all the other costs associated with it. So,
well, in Montana, you don't have to do anything once it's 10 and a half years old. So if you get a driver's license from Arizona and a plate from Montana, then you've eliminated all these problems. But somehow all these other jurisdictions have to have all this stuff up to date. And that just lets you know what this is a racket.
Oh, yeah.
This is just more taxation. Because in Florida, to register a car is I don't know, it's gone up, but it used to be $25 a year, and I think it's $60 a year now. But in New Hampshire, it depends on the value of the car. So if you buy a brand new Lamborghini, you're going to pay significantly more than somebody who's driving around an old beater.
Right. I know that license plates are pretty ridiculous. I did a little bit of reading on it to where there's nothing that a vehicle identification number can't suffice in place of a license plate for a car. And you don't have to renew that every year, right? Outside
that's what a plate is basically, is a vehicle identification number, and presumably they needed it for individual states so that,
well, it started with horse and buggies and stuff like that.
Sure. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Do we need this whole taxation apparatus? What's the point of it? 855-450-FREE.
What if you could cut your heating bills this winter with your existing wood-burning fireplace and not spend thousands doing it? You can with Great Wall of Fire fireplace grates. Our U.S. patented made-in-America Wall of Fire grates increase fireplace efficiency, eliminate fireplace smoke problems, and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. See our grates in action and get free shipping from walloffire.com or call 800-274-7364. Fireplace heat without fireplace smoke. walloffire.com.
We can all agree these are troubled times, right? So do you know who's on your wireless network? Whether it's a big company selling your data or a foreign hacker, if you're not protected, everybody sees your information. That's why you need Flash Routers, a custom Wi-Fi router created for privacy. Flash Routers uses a virtual private network, or VPN, to protect your online activity from hackers, trackers, and large corporations. And not just one, but all your devices with one out-of-the-box setup. Plus, Flash Routers also enhances your wireless network performance and unlocks powerful router management tools to let you take total control of your network. Call or click Flash Routers today at 1-866-509-5817 or FLASHROUTERS.com. That's 1-866-509-5817 or FlashRouters.com. Protect your wireless home network today with Flash Routers.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BitCot no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We might be able to squeeze you in if you call in. The number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. It's Mark with you.
And the Dr. Reverend Captain Kickass, the human pump handle slamming machine, Buckshot Esquire, if you will.
Are you going to be at Fork Fest 2020 this year?
I plan to.
So Fork Fest is a fork of the very popular Porcupine Freedom Festival.
I call that whole bit Pork and Fork.
Pork and Fork, that's right. They go together. Join the liberty-minded voluntarists, libertarians, and anarchists from June the 29th through July the 5th for Fork Fest 2020 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. It happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival. And it's decentralized, which means no one's in charge. You just come, you camp, you have fun. If you want to do some speeches, put up a tent, you do whatever it is you want to do. You want to serve food, there's no ticket cost. For the event, you have to pay for the campsite with Rogers. You just reserve your site or your motel room or whatever it is at Rogers Campground, 29th of June through July 5th. And it's a great way to celebrate Independence Day. And you can go to Pork Fest first and then go to Fork Fest. It's great. Check them out. Go to the Fork Fest forum at forkfest.party. There's links to the unofficial website and all those other things there. Oh, excuse me. There are links on the unofficial website at forkfest.party.
Party, party, party.
Let's go to Mike calling in from Washington. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live.
How are you guys tonight? Captain Kickass, that's a great name.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
I think the police could learn to be more like those private groups and start, somehow it probably is going to take another 100 years, but actually learn to be more like keepers of the peace and not go in, all macho, just be nice people. And I don't know how that's going to ever work out, but it would be great if it worked that way. On the pot stores, though, more importantly, now I also live in Washington, and there's a few shops that I know, they know when to not dare not check your ID, but they also know when it's okay, when everybody in there is regular and it's cool to not check. But that's rare. But now another shop I go to that employs probably in 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till midnight or 11 p.m., that's a lot of hours, probably 40 employees. And when they get caught not checking that ID or letting you in with a hole punched in it, everybody's out of a job for 2 weeks. So I really respect them and don't give them any guff because you always get caught short, it seems like, on your ID somewhere,
Yeah,
But,
this is definitely one of those things.
A lot of people. It affects a lot of people besides me.
Yeah, and this is what the government does, is they turn everybody into a little deputy, an unpaid deputy for them, right? So when you've got that kid who's 20 years old selling beer at the grocery store that he can't buy, he's checking your ID because he can't tell the difference between somebody who's his age and somebody who's old enough to be his dad, I guess. Whatever the situation is, I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because their job's on the line. They're doing it because they're told to do it. But it's kind of the ridiculousness of the whole thing. Here in Europe, no problem buying some alcohol and let your kid drink at home or with meals or anything like that. Here in the United States, my God, you're going to corrupt them. It's just amazing the hubris of these politicians.
And I wanted to say too about the Washington the recreational marijuana in Seattle proper. It is far more strict and far more tight than outside of Seattle
Correct.
proper. Like if you get into even Everett, their stores were less the same. They were able to sort of have some personality about it, that kind of a thing. So the further you get from the downtown area, sort of the more personable it seems to be, but it still doesn't.
That is very true. That is very true.
Anyway, went through Seattle.
I don't mind. I just don't mind getting my driver's license renewed every 5 years. I guess I know what you mean. I understand the whole control. I just personally don't mind it, and I certainly would never want the staff to be affected because they let me in. That's all.
Understood.
Anyway,
thank you
very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I went to recently Seattle, I guess like last year about this time, Seattle and Denver within a couple of weeks of each other. And I don't remember ever seeing a pot shop in Seattle. But in Denver, I saw them all over the place. So, if there's a competition going on between Seattle and Denver, Seattle's losing.
Well, Seattle doesn't allow them to advertise in the same way they let other industries advertise.
I see.
What they did is they didn't let the industry just sort of grow. They dictated how the industry was going to be.
They always do. They did it with alcohol. I mean, look, there's beer distributors
they
out
didn't
there.
do it with technology, right? The internet came along, and they weren't like, okay, this is how we're going to allow the internet to be advertised.
It's because it wasn't outlawed first.
Right.
Watch what happens with political memes, though. I mean, now with this new election that's coming around, you're going to have to answer all kinds of questions if you're going to start some organization that's going to put out memes or whatever. I mean, so once they get their little nose under the tent, then they're moving the whole camel in.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a matter of fact is what it is. And the meme wars will continue.
Right.
I'm a veteran of the meme wars. Are you?
The Democrats lost this go around, and they're pretty bitter about it. Everybody's got to pay.
Just the fact that like some government entity is upset and tracking memes. I mean, if that doesn't illustrate the ridiculousness of the entity known as the government,
if it doesn't illustrate what they think about you. So Russia made memes. and they swayed your vote, which is to say you're such a mind-numbed myrmidon that a few pictures with words on it has suddenly changed your mind. I mean, it's the rare meme that's changed my mind on anything, I can tell you that. I can't think of one.
But if I make a meme, it just gets ignored and people call me crazy and that kind of a thing. So like, what's the difference here? Right? How come you take
you can't pay
memes?
Facebook?
Yeah, apparently my memes don't change minds, but like some kid in Russia makes a meme. Oh, you've affected the entire election process.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this is it, right? It's 2020. The election's upon us. It's coming down the pike, and we're less than a month away from 2020, and I didn't think it was going to be true, but it looks like people are going to still be using Facebook in 2020.
Oh, I don't know how this happened, but I've seen more commercials for that. I don't want to do him any favors, but that Tom Steyer guy. I don't know how he gets advertised to me as much as he does. I'm so sick of that guy.
He's pumping the money in.
He did a commercial where he talks about how few women are in like Congress and the Senate and how few minorities.
He's a white guy.
So vote for this old white guy who's somehow going to change that. I'm like,
think it's hilarious.
How is that
term limits?
That's his campaign.
Oh,
thing
I know.
Too. He's like term limits. But I find it ridiculous that here's a guy talking about how few minorities and women are involved in the political process. So he wants you to vote for the old white guy. I don't understand how that makes sense to anybody.
I don't either. I'm baffled by it. It's frankly insulting. That hey, here's your hot button issue of the gender or the race of somebody, and I don't fit any of that, but I'm gonna fix it. And I think he's right, though. I think that the term limits would help on something like that. I'm for term limits. I don't think it's the biggest solution in the world, but I'll take it.
How about let's limit their terms to 0? All politicians, your term is now 0. You run on an election, you get you run on a campaign, you get elected, and poof, it's over.
I think that we'd probably be better off with randomly selecting people to do these jobs than we are having these elections.
Absolutely we should. They're the least qualified people. Right. And like really good leaders, they don't want to rule you anyway. They don't want to tell you what to do. Right. They'll lead by example if they're a good leader.
Sure.
So I hate when people call politicians, oh, they're the leaders of our. No, they're not. They are anything but leaders.
They are liars and thieves is what they are. And somehow we believe we cannot do without these liars and thieves. And if that's the case, that's fine. But let's come up with a better system for picking these liars and thieves, because the Democrats out there, let's get the money out of politics. I've looked at the proposals, and there's really no proposal that I can find for actually getting money out of politics. They're talking about let's overturn Citizens United. Well, all that means is that I want the unions to be able to donate to campaigns, but I don't want the corporations to be able to donate to campaigns. Yeah. Well, that's not a viable solution. That's just one side, showing how they're going to win. Look, the Republicans know how to win. They gerrymander. I'm sorry that your solutions have not been as successful as theirs, but the whole thing, we're all getting screwed on it.
And how did people decide that a popularity contest was the way to pick leaders?
Right. Like the idea that somebody who's successful at running a presidential campaign somehow makes them qualified for the highest office in the world is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
Insane. Check us out at freetalklive.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We'd love to add you to the list. We send out a little newsletter. Try to keep it rare. It's go to freetalklive.com.
Are you able to set your own schedule, work, play, or sleep whenever you want 7 days a week? Are you free to date whomever you want, even if you're already married? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,462, silver at $16.91, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,310. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at